Hey guys, and welcome to the OddBlog number 3. I am Oddball, and today we're going to be going over a couple of games that you may have seen on my channel already, but we really haven't had a chance to talk about. First of which is going to be Black Ops 2. Now, I know you all were expecting a larger review of Black Ops 2, as I promised in the past, but I am like a deadbeat dad, and I'm going to promise you things and not give them to you. Well, the truth is that during a storm the past couple of days, my power has been out, which has put me even further behind on the things that I want to do for this channel. So therefore, I'm rolling it in with the other things that I need to take care of, and we'll hopefully get these done fairly quickly. Now, first of all, Black Ops 2. Now, as many of you have probably realized or seen throughout my channel, or that I've explained before, I really have stayed away from the Call of Duty franchise. I didn't really feel like that they have innovative enough to really draw me to the game. But I figured Black Ops 2, you know, maybe I'll give it a chance. I'll give it a shot. Now, I've stayed away. I hadn't even played Black Ops 1, and I hear that some of what happens in Black Ops 1 actually affects Black Ops 2. It's why we see a lot of the numbers and confusion, the hypnosis stuff in Black Ops 2 that you may have seen in the Let's Play. It really doesn't play that big of a part in my opinion, so honestly I think you can kind of pick up this game and just, you know, play it wherever it left off. Now, starting with the campaign, if I had 3 words to describe it, I would say linear, entertaining, and incredibly bipolar. Now, what I mean by this is that Black Ops 2 is not an open world game. Don't go into it expecting that you're going to be able to roam the environment or do something different. Although anyone who's played the Call of Duty franchise will understand this right away. Now, even though you're sent pretty much to go from point A to point B, even on the large open world levels. Now, if you've played Black Ops 2 or watched my Let's Play, I'm referring to when you're riding the horse out in the desert. It's a large level, but you pretty much have to go from here to here every time, and that is a little frustrating from time to time. But the game is a lot of fun. It tells a very unique story with a lot of twists in it, and it's done very well. I was actually very impressed, and probably one of the more entertaining campaigns that I've played in a while. It was relatively short, but hey, it got its point across. It was like a short novel that you enjoy, that you could play again and again and still have fun. Now, when I say the game is bipolar, I'm referring to the 2 different kinds of levels in the campaign. You have your regular story levels, and then you have levels called strike missions. Now, strike missions are completely different from the regular campaign in it that they allow you to control smaller units, kind of like an RTS on console. But you can control those units individually. Anyone thinking back to Mass Effect 2 and
I am assuming direct control.
Now, these strike missions wouldn't be as frustrating if they didn't directly affect your game. Whether or not you complete certain strike missions can directly influence the ending, and whether or not it's good and or bad. I'm going to give you a quick example of the strike mission that I worked for. It's in my Let's Play and is the only one that I completed out of the, I believe, 7 or 8 that there are. Anyway, I was given some troops and I had to protect 3 points. I had to keep at least 2 of them alive. Well, the AI is horrendous, and a good example of this is that I was unable to protect any of them. And by that I mean I left one to the enemy, they can go and grab that one, I don't care, I only need to protect these 2. On one of them I had a sentry turret. I controlled that manually to take out anyone coming in that direction. And then on part A, or objective A, I left every single troop at my disposal, which was a turret, a big robot, and 3 squads of troops. Or was it 2 squads? I don't remember. They acted like no squads, so I guess it really doesn't matter at this point. And anyway, on top of having all of them there, I couldn't defend these locations. I was able to defend 2 by myself because I actually have a brain and could use it, but my men seemed apt to stand there and just get shot again and again and again. So, lo and behold, multiple times I failed my strike missions horribly. But there was an upside. Now, bear with me on this. I always play my games on veteran difficulty or harder. Basically, the hardest setting available to the game as soon as it comes out and I'm able to get it in my hands. Now, this doesn't stop me from completing games. They may be difficult or they may be hard, but I can still always complete it. It's not a point of contention that I'm going to have, that I may not be able to finish the game or I may not be able to get the best ending. It just makes the game more difficult. Now, Black Ops 2 is probably one of the few games where my skills were not good enough to give me the best ending in the game. Now, I guess I really can't say it's my skills. I guess you could say the horrible AI is what stopped me from being able to get the best ending. But anyway, what this allowed me to do was be able to get a very bittersweet ending. I was able to complete my mission that was given to me. They aren't exactly hunky-dory or wonderful. And I actually liked this. It gave the game a little bit more realism and a little bit more seriousness that I actually enjoyed. If you're that type of person that really likes that type of ending, then maybe Black Ops 2's campaign is for you. Now, I didn't go back and play these strike missions on an easier difficulty, in which case I probably could have completed them. But I think they stand for themselves. They weren't very well implemented, and I really hope they leave them out of future games. Or fix them. Preferably leave them out. Yeah. Next, let's talk about zombies. Now, I did play zombies in the original Black Ops with friends of mine, and I just gotta say that JFK Castro one-liners are hilarious and was a lot of fun. Even playing through the White House was a good time. Now, in Black Ops 2, I really didn't like the zombies that much. A big part of it was that a lot of the levels, well, I guess you could say all the levels, except for Nuketown, were incredibly dark and foggy. Now, I know there's a little bit of a story mode in a way that you can go and do with friends of yours. I also know there's a lot of Easter eggs that a lot of people were excited about, but the game just really wasn't that fun. It didn't really come off as zombies to me. When I think of a zombie game, I think of, one shot in the head takes out a zombie. That's not here. You can go into a building and you can barricade it like you could in the older versions of zombies for COD. This one, you open up a new door to a room, hey, and the door's just stuck open. You really can't barricade or do anything like that. I've spent most of my time in the later levels of zombies pretty much running in a circle with a bunch of zombies chasing me, turning around and emptying my ammo into a group of people. I mean, I guess they really shouldn't even call it zombies. They should call it shooting unarmed people that chase you. So if you're looking for your classic zombie game, Black Ops 2 isn't for you. If you're looking for more of the same, with a little bit more emphasis on points and score, there you go. Next, let's talk about Black Ops 2's multiplayer. Now, the multiplayer is pretty much the exact same cookie cutter from the past, except for a few small changes. It is harder to get kill streaks, and the maps are different. Guess that really doesn't say a whole lot. The multiplayer just seems very watered down, focusing on the solo players and the people who like to camp to get kill streaks. And this is kind of giving the game over to the people who, well, love the game to begin with. That's how COD got it started. Those are the people who are the most eager fans who will buy this game regardless of if it's really good or not. Now, whether that's a good thing, I don't know. It's the reason why people like me typically avoid the multiplayer, and it's the reason why people buy it specifically for the multiplayer. So I guess to each person their own, but for me personally, multiplayer wasn't impressive. It's the same thing we've seen before over and over again, and I think it's the same thing a lot of reviewers are saying. Well, except for all the reviewers who reviewed the game and gave it all 9s out of 10. They even brag about it in their stupid trailer and all that jazz. And I could go on and on, but I'm trying to keep this short. Alright, next we're going to talk about Borderlands 2. Now, I know I don't have the footage of the Let's Play up for Borderlands 2 yet. I'm still working on it. It's a long edit, okay guys? It's just like 15, 16, 17 hours of footage to go through, okay? Give me a break. But recently completed it. This was on the standard difficulty because you're not actually able to get to the harder difficulties until you beat it at least once. In that way, it's kind of like Diablo 3, and it's why it's also kind of frustrating in the way that Diablo 3 was frustrating. Now, I did play it through with my buddy Ryan. It was only 2 people, not 4, but it was a lot of fun to play. Now, there are parts in Borderlands that do get a little drawn out when you're going from point A to B, and after you do a lot of quests that are something along the lines of this. Go kill this, or go get this thing. Okay. I killed that and got this stuff. Alright. Go do it again, only it's slightly different things and the other things are harder to kill. Okay. And after you do that about 100 times, things get a little boring. Now, they do try to keep it interesting, like a robot looking for human body parts or clothes to wear. Things like that that just are kind of funny and amusing. Now, and actually it's the funny and amusing stuff that I want to focus on. Borderlands 1 did have a comical side to it, but it was still trying to be a serious game. Now, it seems they've made a shift now to try and be more comical, to be more funny. They parody a lot of FPSs that are out right now. And I think they've really found their niche. I think this is where they're really going to go for the future. And I really liked it. Now, the game was a little bipolar in the way that it would get really, really funny, and then towards the end, it was trying to get more serious. And it seemed like it couldn't make a decision on what it wanted to be. Should we feel bad? Should we be upset? Should we be laughing? We're really unsure. A good example of that is Handsome Jack, who's the main bad guy in the series. Now, I know he's supposed to be insane, so I really can't say too much about him. But the problem with Handsome Jack is that he's completely nuts. The whole time he's talking to you, being funny, making fun of things, but then he gets really serious towards the end. Now, I don't know if that's really good character development or awful character development. I really couldn't make a decision throughout the game. Now, if you love first-person shooters looking for a little bit of the RPG/MMO touch, and you just want to run and gun and kill things for better loot, hey, Borderlands is the game for you. Next, we're going to talk about Black Mesa Source, and for those of you that don't know, Black Mesa Source is just a reimagining of Half-Life 1. Now, when I say reimagining, I mean just an update with the new Half-Life 2 Source engine. Now, the main thing is, I really can't do a review here because Half-Life 1 is awesome. So this game is awesome. Download it. It's free. Play it. You can go to blackmesasource.com. Check it out for yourself. I will put the link down in the description below. Next, coming up, Halo 4. Now, Halo 4 was very good. I am one of the people who will camp outside to play a Halo game. Why? Because I have a lot of nostalgia from Halo. Oh, God, I'm sounding like a Nintendo fanboy now. Now, Halo had a pretty decent campaign. It was a lot of fun, but the main thing is, I really had no idea what's going on. Being someone who had read the books in the past and was thoroughly into the Halo franchise, I'm completely lost. The weird thing is that for the campaign, besides the fact that I really wasn't sure what was going on, the story was told very well. I guess I could say in a way that they finally gave Master Chief and some of the other characters, they were more fleshed out. You actually felt a connection to the people in the campaign. Now, whether or not this actually translates into a really good story, didn't really seem that way. One of the odd things about this is that the campaign really builds up to the final enemy, and the enemy is pathetically easy to defeat. You really don't even fight him. You just kind of... I guess you could say you just kind of press buttons at the end to kill him, but then again, that's half of Halo 4 is press the button. They send you off to go press this button and then press that button. Even in the Spartan Ops, it's to press that button or protect that button, or someone press that button and you gotta kill them, and then someone else will press a button and you gotta go through the button and go through the portal to hit another button. I don't know if that's just how the world is there. That's just kind of, that's pretty much all you do in Halo 4 is hit buttons. I don't know if it's the innate joy I have of pressing buttons that they're counting on, or that, you know, it's kind of like bubble wrap, I guess, in a way. It's boring, but it's entertaining at the same time. I'm not really sure what I'm saying now. But the campaign is entertaining. Now, that's one thing that Halo has been able to do, is a very good job of mixing up locations and maps. So you can be inside, out in the jungle, back inside again, an open area with vehicles, no vehicles, different types of enemies. It's entertaining to play, and it's challenging, but it is a lot of fun. We played with 2 people. We added in a 3rd person for part of it, but it was very good, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a very good campaign, and I'd recommend it to anyone. Now I'm going to talk about Halo 4's multiplayer. Now, the problem with Halo 4's multiplayer is that it's incredibly dumbed down compared to Halo Reach. Halo Reach had a lot of options. You had doubles teams, you had multiple teams, you had SWAT, you had anything that you wanted to play, it was there. If you wanted to play Griffball, it was there. If you wanted to play Just Capture the Flag, if you wanted to chase your friends around on mongooses and fire rockets at each other all day, you could do that. If you wanted to play a racing game, you could play Halo Reach and it would all be there. Now, there's a game that can really excel in multiplayer. Halo 4 strips all that down and tries to make itself more like Call of Duty, which takes a lot away, especially if you're used to all the variety from Halo Reach. Now, that being said, Halo 4 is very good. The multiplayer is entertaining, the weapons are very much improved over weapons in the past, and the game is very well done. Now, the problem is they have what are called, well, I want to say kill streaks now because I was talking about Call of Duty, but they're not kill streaks. Essentially, when you get a certain amount of kills, you have an option to get new weapons or abilities on the field. Now, you can call these in. Now, the problem with this is it's very easy to get ordnance weapons. So what happens when you're playing large games like Big Team Battle, you run into ordnance weapons all the time, which basically negate the point of even using vehicles. What's the point of driving a Warthog when every other person on the enemy team has a rocket launcher? Speaking of vehicles, it seems that Halo 4, despite adding new vehicles such as the Mantis and removing other awesome vehicles such as the Falcon, they seem to hate anyone who likes to drive anything, namely this guy. Now, the problem is, if there's any open world maps in here, it's pretty much just the one map. Coagulation, Blood Gulch, whatever you want to call it. It's the one map that's really effective to use vehicles on. Every single other one is a very small corridor-based map. You're pretty much walking in a straight line and you're going to be surrounded or shot from people behind rocks across the map or in tunnels or sneaking out at you. It's really not effective to do anything like that, and that's really frustrating to someone like me, and I hope that the addition of new maps later on will fix this in a way and make things a little more open world. However, if you're the type of guy who likes to focus on just running around on your own 2 feet, you're really going to like Halo 4. Now, next we're going to talk about Spartan Ops. Now, Spartan Ops is an interesting idea. What it is, they'll release episodes, or basically levels. Think of it as a campaign that is released over time. complete with cinematics and a storyline. You're basically set down an area, told to kill everything there and go press some buttons, going back to the whole button thing later. But it's a secondary campaign. If you enjoy playing the campaign with your friends and you want something a little different, this is the thing for you. Now the downside is that every single one of these episodes, or levels as it were, all take place on the same locations. There's about 6 or 7 locations that you can go to, but after you've been to them 4 or 5 times each, things get a little boring. Yes, you're doing something a little different each time, but you can't help but feel this is kind of a letdown. Hopefully with the addition of new maps, the Spartan Ops will be able to expand a little bit. But at the same time, if you put these levels up on harder difficulty, they don't seem to actually increase the difficulty or make the AI any better throughout the entire Spartan Ops. All they seem to do is throw more men at you. More men. Just throw everything! Throw everything we have at them! Hey, there's almost a running joke with my friends and I have that when you're playing Spartan Ops on Legendary, the Covenant are incredibly stupid, but they have a whole lot of heavy weapons, namely fuel rods. You notice when the game is attempting to be difficult, they just give everything within 100 feet fuel rods. And that's just annoying. Now I'm going to be talking about Resident Evil 6. Now, for those of you who have been watching the movies that have gotten progressively worse over time, played the games from Resident Evil 5 to Resident Evil Raccoon City, which were getting progressively worse, you're probably wondering, please tell me, sir, that Resident Evil 6 isn't as bad as all these things that the Resident Evil franchise had to deal with. And you're in luck, because Resident Evil 6 is an excellent game. They have finally learned from their mistakes. But Resident Evil 6 is thoroughly entertaining. Having the campaign split up into 3 separate parts is excellent. Now the reason why I say this is because each campaign is nice and long, it is entertaining, and is completely different than the others. Sure, they intersect from time to time, enemies at different times. For example, Leon's is more of a horror campaign. You have Jake's campaign, which is more of a mystery, and you have the military campaign, which is more of straight up fighting. Now the thing that impressed me most about Resident Evil 6 was that the amount of options you have. The amount of weapons, the toggles from single fire to multiple fire. If you are fighting zombies and you want to jump backwards and fight from shooting down on your knees, you can do that. Do you want to flip forward? You can do that. Want to do melee executions? You have that. Dodge right, dodge left, that's there. Fire while walking? You can do that too. Now these are a lot of things that you never really had in the past as options, but this leads to a lot more entertaining game, especially if you can master all of these techniques. My recommendation is to go pick up Resident Evil 6 and play with a friend. You'll have a good time, especially if you're a Resident Evil fan. Anyway guys, those are my quick reviews bringing you up to speed. If you have any questions or suggestions on how I can improve next time, please leave a message in the comment section below. And if you want to see more videos from Oddball Ways to Die, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button over there. Otherwise, I'll see you guys later, and thanks for tuning in.